Now let's talk about the enumerations or the enums. So you'll be using, in fact, most of the time you'll be using enums in all of your iOS development, and it's a good idea that we take a little bit of the look about how the enums looks like and how the implementation goes on. And then when we'll be moving on to the iOS 10 development, it would be becoming much more clear at that point of the time. So I don't expect you to get the enums fully, just get the idea, and when we'll be talking about the iOS 10 apps, then it will become much more clear out there. So I have already written a piece of code so that it helps you to understand the enums in a better proportion. So what we are trying to do here is trying to build a sort of movie seat booking application, and I have got an enum which is having a movie seat. So this is my enumeration. So what does enumeration does? It just produces a number of cases, and based on the matching of that cases, you can write a code block that works out there. So for example, let's say there is a movie theater, and inside that we have got 5 types of seats: the rock, the bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. So this is what we have out here. And the good thing is that this is now a data type. Just like you have integer, you have a string. Now this is a data type which can have a variety of rock, bronze, silver, and gold out there. So enum just gives you an additional data type out there. So we have got a movie seat, and once I define my data type as movie seat, I am restricting myself from within these 5 cases at all. So it cannot go beyond that. And you will see enums quite a lot in entire iOS 10, and these are heavy dosely implemented using the swift3 in iOS 10. So once we have defined our variations, I can define a variable. Let's just say Kathy is a variable who wants to see the movie, and I'm defining a movie seat variable out there. And with the implementation of the dot, I can access all of these values out there. But interestingly, note that if I delete this and put a dot here, I'm only produced with these options here, like bronze, gold, platinum, rock, and silver, and nothing else. So this is pretty good for us. Let's just say I choose a platinum out there. So based on that, I can actually now use a switch in case or any other conditionals out there to produce a little bit of the different code. So for example, right now the code is very naive. It just says print, and that's all about it. But in the case of iOS 10 development, when you'll be designing good apps, you'll be seeing that this is implemented heavily out there. And remember this syntax, the dot. So I'm only matching the case for dot rock. Now this dot is actually symbolizing that I'm trying to figure out from enum out there. So make sure that you keep an eye on the dot, because most of the time you'll be just putting these dots out there in the iOS 10 application. So this is the basic of the enums. And I don't think you do need to get into the much of the details about the enums, because you simply don't need to do a whole research or write a thesis on the enums. You just need to be aware that these are there, and when we'll be using in the syntax, it becomes much more clear. And also I would like to make a point at the line number 31 that there is automatic incrementer order which you can apply in your enums as well. For example, the enums is the planets, which explicitly I have defined as integer type. Now notice here I am not defining it out there, and I'm saying that it's a case where Mercury is equals 1 and then comma and separated by all these values. So now all these numbers or all these strings are having a raw values, and you can access these raw values by simply using the planets, then dot the name of the string that you are looking for, and dot raw value. So automatically by incrementation, Mercury is 1, Venus is 2, so Earth got 3 number, which is absolutely correct. So this is what we have got here, the 3 number. Okay, pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory movie that we have got a data type enum which can hold multiple cases. Notice one thing here, that here in the case I'm using double quotes out there, the colon, but in these cases we don't use these colons. So this is what I wanted to point out. So again, let me repeat or revise the movie. Enum is the keyword out there. You can define a data type out there. Inside the data type, we can have multiple cases, and based on that, we can run multiple lines of code. So that's all about the enums in this movie.